Welcome everyone to part 2 of our 3-part webinar series, Special Needs and Employment. Today we have Kala Haynes and Jolene Weiler from UWIPS, and they will be discussing some of the programs and services as well as ABLE accounts. Jolene is the director for the Utah Work Incentive Planning Services, UWIPS, with the Utah State Office of Rehabilitation under the Department of Workforce Services. In addition to her role at UWIPS, Jolene is also the program coordinator for ABLE Utah. She provides services to individuals receiving Social Security disability benefits so they can make informed choices about working and their benefits. Jolene is a graduate from the University of Utah with a bachelor's degree in sociology, and she is currently serving as the vice president on the board of directors for the National Association of Benefits and Work Incentive Specialists. And then we also have Kala Haynes joining us, and Kala is the self-advocacy and financial literacy trainer at UWIPS. Her primary responsibility is to provide outreach and education across the state of Utah to help students with disabilities ages 14 to 22 and their families understand the options available to pursue careers and employment surrounding disability benefit issues. So thank you so much for being here today. I am going to pass the mic off to Kala and Jolene.
And Kala, you're going to go ahead and start. And you're muted.
There we go. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay. As Sylvia was saying, I am part of the Department of Workforce Services Rehabilitation Services at the state of Utah. I'm the self-advocacy financial literacy instructor for Utah Work Incentive Planning Services and the Utah State Office of Rehabilitation Services. And as she says, my primary responsibility is to provide outreach and education to help the students with disability ages 14 to 22 and their families to understand their options available to pursue careers and employment surrounding disability benefits around disability benefit issues. As a self-advocacy instructor, I help the students knowing their strengths, their weaknesses, and their challenges, and help them speak up for themselves and help them with communication needs. A lot of time with the kids, I help them make the big phone calls that we need to make when we become adult. Appointments, talking with Medicaid, or one time I helped a child with a pharmacy issue that the drug was not going to be provided for Medicaid. So we had to do a couple of calls there. So that is one thing that I helped with the self-advocacy, because making big calls like that can be overwhelming. I help them prepare before we make the phone calls as well. I help them build support networks, who's in their supports, including friends, families, teachers, monitors, or other professionals, and other programs out there. A lot of kids don't know all the programs that are available for them. So I help them set up with programs that are available in their communities. My other role is a financial literacy instructor. I help their ability to understand money, personal finance, budgeting, savings, investing, loans, understanding a paycheck. That's a big one, is a paycheck. I do a lot of lessons on paychecks. I do a cute little SpongeBob, and we go through what he has to pay on his taxes and all this, and some of the kids all laugh and say, we don't get any money after all the taxes. So it's kind of fun to help the kids understand what's exactly on a paycheck. Right now I'm working with a lot of students with FAFSA, understanding FAFSA, making sure paperwork and the app's downloaded right, and going through that process as well. I do work with all the other pre-eds on the employment side and helping them, career navigate, or, setting up job shadowing. That's a big thing because students don't know what they want at this time. So I help them navigate that with finding their career, doing job shadows, mock interviews. I do a lot of that with the other pre-eds. And Sylvia has this, so if you need a copy of this, that should be available. And if not, I can make sure that she has that. How services are provided, we do workshops. We usually go into the schools. We attend IEP meetings at the schools. We can do one-on-one because a lot of this is overwhelming or personal. So we like to sit with the students and the parents and navigate the one-on-one, do follow-up appointments, and refer to programs, help them understand the process of the applications, because applications can be confusing, where to fax them and stuff like that. So that's what I help navigate with the type of services I provide. There is a form release form that I need the students to fill out. The top is for the student's information. The second part is for an educator or a licensed medical professional that fills out the form. It's just a sign a release. So I am able to speak with the agencies or other ones on behalf of the students if I need to. Part of the program that I work with is Utah Work Incentive Planning Services, and we help students or clients that are currently receiving Social Security benefits and would like to get their Social Security benefits and understand how they work with other programs, Medicaid, Social Security, food stamps, or housing programs, etc. The needs-based programs is what they're called. I also help with the ABLE account. I help the students set up the ABLE account too. And Jolene's going to go in more depth with this, but I do help gather in the information and help them set up. And then once they set it up, I help them navigate a budget and what can be spent. And I really enjoy that with the kids, helping them set their budgets. And it's really a fun time. We do do presentations. And like I said, we help get documents and I help fill out the applications and help them navigate a budget with what can be used on the ABLE account. Here's my flyer. Sylvia and Debbie do have that information. If you need that, you're available to call or text or just a call. Okay, thanks. And here's Jolene.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And it's really nice to be able to have Cala work one-on-one with the student and also with parents as well, to give them that information and to get them hooked up with services. It's a great option for people. So I am going to, can you see my presentation now? Yeah, okay. If you have questions during my presentation, please go ahead and put it in the chat. Or you can, I don't know if you have the ability to unmute yourself and ask that question. But I wanted to talk a little bit about ABLE Utah and also about Utah Work Incentive Planning Services. Let's see, sorry, I'm fixing my screen here. Okay, sounds good. So again, I don't know how many of you have heard of ABLE Utah. The ABLE Utah Savings Plan is a tax advantage savings account and also has investment options with it. And the idea is to help individuals with disabilities be able to save money that is not going to affect their benefits that they're receiving, like SSI and Medicaid. So if you're familiar with some of the application procedures with Medicaid and SSI, they are known as needs-based programs. So if you have over $2,000 in the bank as an individual, you would be over assets, they call it, or over resources. And so an ABLE Utah account allows you to save and invest money above that $2,000 limit, and it doesn't count against those needs-based programs, both federal and state programs. We started in September of 2021, and we are in a partnership. So you'll see a couple of different labels being used here. So you'll see ABLE Utah, and you'll also see Stable, because we are in a partnership with the Ohio Stable program. They had kind of the framework of the ABLE program up and running. So there's actually 13 other states that work with the Stable Ohio program. So they're kind of the middlemen in this operation. But the account is for Utah. Now the benefit for an Able Utah account or an Able account is it really helps people make do financial planning for the future. And the account is owned by the individual with the disability. And that's really nice to be able to, if you were able to make your own decisions of where that money goes and to be able to have the peace of mind that you can put additional money into an account and not have it count against your benefits. Um, there are also tax benefits that are available, and I'll talk about them a little bit later in the presentation. Um, I often say I've been in the business of working with people with disabilities for over 30 years, and the Able accounts are kind of a game changer when it comes to individuals with disabilities and money. I'm seeing an iPhone come up. Did you have a question?
No.
No? Oh, okay. Okay, great. Okay, so this is kind of a busy slide, but let me kind of go through it a little bit. So the Able Utah account is really about financial empowerment, letting people be able to save and invest money. Gifts can be given to the Able account for the individual. So parents and grandparents, anyone can contribute to an Able account. Um, and it doesn't count as income for other programs. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But then if you have a 529 college savings program that either is for yourself or for a child that you think is probably not going to be able to be used, that can actually, you can transfer up to $20,000 a year into an Able Utah account with no penalty. And so that is really nice to be able to take the money that you may have saved in the past that you were worried about and transfer into an Able Utah account. And then also we can work with special needs trusts as well. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. And I think you'll have a financial planner potentially that may be talking about special needs trusts. It can be used with an Able account to support the individual and the financial goals that you have. So eligibility, this particular presentation I'm giving you is for 2026, but I'm going to give you the information for 2025, but we're just so close to 2026. Right now in 2025, to be eligible for an Able account, you have to have had your disability, the onset of it or the start of it prior to age 26. But starting in January, there was a law that was passed by Congress called the Able Age Adjustment Act that allows you to have your disability before age 46. And that is a really big thing. They were hoping to be able to have up to 1 million disabled veterans get involved, and then also a lot more individuals with disabilities be able to be eligible for an ABLE program. Plus, so that's the starting eligibility, but you also have to have one of the following things. You have to either be eligible for Social Security disability, so either SSI or SSDI, or you have to have a condition that is listed on Social Security's list of compassionate allowance conditions, and you can Google that for more information. Or you can do what's called self-certification. And this is really powerful for potentially children that are not currently eligible for Social Security, but then also adults that are not going to be getting Social Security disability. So if you do self-certification, there's actually a form on the Able Utah website that you take to your physician, and they just need to mark that the diagnosis causes marked and severe functional limitations, that it has lasted or is expected to last for at least a year. And the nice thing is you don't need to send in the written diagnosis. You just need to keep it on hand in case at some point you have an IRS audit. I'm going to show you the form really quick, hopefully. Okay, I'm going to move the form. This is pretty small, I know, but I wanted to show you how easy it is for the physician to fill this out. Essentially, they have to check either A, that you have that disability, or B, if the individual is blind and meets certain criteria, and attest that they are a medical doctor. And this one says, you know, they had the disability before the 26th birthday. That's going to again change starting in January. And then they write the primary diagnosis and then print and sign their name. So it's very straightforward and simple for a physician to do this. Enrollment's pretty quick and easy. You can enroll, generally, it says 20 minutes. People have said 20 minutes. I'm thinking more set aside an hour to enroll in an ABLE program. And then there is a $25 minimum opening deposit, but that money is just going directly in your account. So it is available for you. It's not the fee. It's not a fee. It's just an opening deposit, just like a regular bank account. The one good thing about ABLE accounts is it can be opened with the individual with the disability, so they make all the decisions. It is always in the individual's name. The bank account is in the individual's name. But if they're not able to manage their finances or they need assistance, they can choose, or somebody can also open that ABLE account on their behalf. And again, this works very well for parents that are opening an ABLE account for a child. They can be what's called the authorized legal representative. Now, the IRS has put in order the list of authorized legal representatives. And so if there's somebody above them on the list that's willing and able to manage that ABLE account, they can do so. But you can authorize a power of attorney, a conservator, legal guardian, spouse, parent, sibling, grandparent, or a Social Security representative payee. So you can actually put your Social Security money into the ABLE account and spend it through the ABLE account. And if an individual has a representative payee and they're putting Social Security money into the ABLE account, that representative payee has to be the authorized legal representative for the ABLE account. We always recommend that you protect this ABLE account. There's not like a brick and mortar bank that you go to. It's all on the computer. So using unique passwords. They do set up multi-factor authentication. So, you know, you get that through your phone or through your email, and just make sure you're monitoring that account. And then funding it, you can fund it through electronic funds transfer from, you know, your bank account or someone's bank account to the ABLE account. You can send in a check to deposit for the ABLE account. And I'm going to give you guys a copy of this presentation, but there's a link right here for the form that's on the ABLE Utah website under forms that you can fill out and send in with your check deposit, just to make sure it goes to the correct place, and choose the type of either savings or investment that you're going to be using. Also, if somebody's working, either the individual with the disability, or if, let's say, you're a parent or a guardian, a friend, family member, you can actually do payroll direct deposit if your employer allows that. Now, for 2026, you can actually put up to $20,000 a year into your ABLE account. For 2025, that's $19,000 a year. So it's going up by $1,000 next year from any source. So it's the individual with a disability putting money in, but then also if friends or family members want to put money in to the account as well, or if you're transferring from a 529 college savings account. If an individual is working, they could also put in an additional $15,650 a year in 2026. Now in 2025, you can put in an additional $15,060. But again, this is the 2026 number. So really, if an individual is working, they can put in up to $34,650 into their ABLE account each year. So that really allows people to save or to invest. A lot of people use the ABLE account really transactionally. So they put money in and then they spend money on certain items. But another significant portion of people put money into the ABLE account to save for the future, to save for retirement or for a house or a car, those kind of things. Now, the lifetime limit is you can have up to $555,000 in your ABLE account for the lifetime of the account. So that's over $500,000. We don't have anybody that's hit that number yet, but we have people who are over $100,000 in their ABLE account here in Utah. But there is an exception to this. If somebody is getting SSI benefits, so if you receive SSI benefits, any balance that's over $100,000 can start counting as a resource. And then also if you withdraw money for housing purposes, so, okay, it's November now. If you are gonna pay your December rent out of your ABLE account and you take that money out in November and transfer it to your personal account, that can be counted as a resource if you leave that money in from the end of one calendar month to the beginning of the next calendar month. So usually I recommend that people either pay their rent early or wait until the beginning of the following month to move that money from the ABLE account to their account. And then if you receive Medicaid, Medicaid does not have a balance limit for the ABLE account, so that's that $555,000. There are still Medicaid payback rules, or they call them either estate recovery or payback. Some people call them clawback. But there are special rules in Utah that we're going to talk about that we've been able to negotiate with the Department of Health and Human Services. And then if you are working, the account holder's wages still count as income if they're receiving Social Security disability benefits. But we're going to also talk about Utah Work Incentive Planning Services, and we can also help individuals understand how work is going to affect their benefits. I said we're going to talk about gifting a little bit. One really nice thing about the ABLE Utah account is people can gift money into a person's ABLE account. We've worked with an individual that their parents put a couple of $100s a month into their ABLE Utah account. And that's really nice because if someone's receiving SSI benefits, generally if you give them money or gift them money, it can count against their SSI check. So they would get a lower SSI check based on that gift of money. But if that gift goes directly into the individual's ABLE account, it doesn't count as income, so it skips that step. Excuse me. And then you can also use your ABLE account kind of like a GoFundMe in a way as well. So you can ask individuals, you can invite them through Facebook or X or by email and ask them to contribute to your ABLE account. Let's say you're saving for something like additions to a wheelchair that Medicaid or Medicare is not going to cover, or an electric bike, or just something that you want to purchase. You can track those donations into your ABLE account as well so that you can thank those people later. There's a really good tracking mechanism in the ABLE program so that you can track your expenses, what you're paying money out for. When those deposits come in, you can add notes and upload receipts into your ABLE account. But then talked a little bit about you save and invest. So whenever you put money into your ABLE account, you get to choose where that money goes. You can put it into what's called the stable savings account. Now that is an FDIC insured savings type account. The FDIC insured up to $250,000, but so you can still earn interest in this stable savings account. But there's also 4 Vanguard options, investment options. So you can choose if you're a conservative investor or all the way up to a little bit more aggressive. And I want to show you one more thing that is pretty cool about the ABLE accounts, and something that really has sold me on ABLE accounts. If we look at I'm sorry, I just clicked on this, but if you go to the ABLE Utah webpage, down at the very bottom of the page, it says historical performance. And you can click on the historical performance and see how the investment options and the savings option has performed over periods of time. So you can look over the last month, 3 months, year to date, 1, 3, 5 years, and since inception. Okay. So I like to look at this 1 year because it goes from October 31st of 25 to October 21st of 24, and see how it has been performing. So if you look on the savings account option, even in your savings account, it made 4.15% in interest. That's more than you're going to make in any savings account. I certainly haven't made that. And then if you look on the different investment options, this income option, which is the most conservative investment option, made 8.76, all the way up to the most aggressive one. I didn't know this until I opened it up this morning, made over 18%, almost 19% interest last year during this past year. So that's pretty impressive. You're not making that in your 401k account. These ABLE accounts, it does go with the market. So if the market falls, the interest is going to fall on this, but they have been doing very well these past few years. So we talked about putting money into your ABLE account. Let's talk about spending money out of the ABLE account. So when you spend money out of an ABLE account, it has to be used for what's called a qualified disability expense. And the IRS made that pretty broad. So they said a qualified disability expense essentially has to help maintain or improve health, independence, or quality of life. And again, really broad. So you can probably put most expenses, you can justify most expenses as a qualified disability expense. Some of the examples they give are housing, living expenses, transportation, education, financial management, or legal fees. So you can spend them for those kind of things. In talking to other ABLE coordinators, there's 2 things that we've kind of figured out would not be a qualified disability expense. And number 1 is gambling, and number 2 is giving money away. So an ABLE account can be spent on quite a wide variety of things, as long as you can justify it as a qualified disability expense. And spending from your account, you can transfer that money into your personal checking or savings account. One thing that's very important is the tracking feature that the ABLE accounts have. Once you transfer that money into your personal savings or checking account, you're going to be responsible for that tracking and saying what that money went for. But you can also get a third-party check. So you can say, hey, ABLE Utah, I want you to send a check to my landlord or to this bill or something like that, and that you can do that as well. And then you can also use what's called the stable Visa card. and transferring money onto the stable Visa card. And the stable Visa card is basically a loadable prepaid card, and it can be used anywhere Visa is accepted. If you are an authorized legal representative for an individual, you can have one of those stable Visa cards, and the individual can also have one of those stable Visa cards. So if you're paying for expenses out of their ABLE account, you can use that Visa card as well. And then if that person with the disability wants to go and purchase things, you can, give them their stable Visa card to go do that. But it does have some really good protections on it. So you don't put the entire amount of your ABLE account onto your Visa. You may put, a couple $100 onto the Visa card. So it really provides that controlled spending. There's no overdraft, so you can't spend too much. There's no cash access, so you can't go to an ATM and get money out. And you can limit the merchants that the individual can go to. So I often use the example of where Calla and I work, we're really close to a 7-Eleven and a Maverick here. And something interesting is whenever I go into that Maverick, there's always somebody outside asking for money or asking you to buy something for them. But for some reason, that 7-Eleven does not have that issue. And so you can say, hey, I want my child or whatever to just be able to spend money at the 7-Eleven because they're not going to feel pressured or anything like that to try to purchase something for somebody else. And I don't want them to spend the money at that Maverick or whatever store that is. So I usually use that as an example. You can also track those expenses that you have spent on the stable Visa card, and it alerts you if there's low funds in the account. Okay, Sylvia asks the question, is the eligible age 46 years old or before one turns 46? So you have to have had the disability start before age 46. So if your disability doesn't start until you're 50, then you're not currently eligible for an ABLE account. So the onset or the beginning of your disability had to be before age 46. I'm used to saying 26 because it's been that way for quite a few years. Does that help, Sylvia?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. A big question is what happens when the person passes away with an ABLE account? What's going to happen to Medicaid? What's going to happen to the money in the account? The way it works is the estate administrator or whoever is helping with that person's estate can notify the stable customer account or customer service, and they take over the account access. The account does have to go through normal probate, so you can't put an ABLE account in a trust. It does have to go through the probate process. But Medicaid services, the money in your ABLE account is really better protected than in a bank account because even though Medicaid can ask for payback in some circumstances, you can deduct any Medicaid buy-in premiums you've had to pay or cost of care. You can pay for any outstanding medical bills. And a nice thing is you can pay for funeral expenses out of your ABLE account. The average ABLE account for Utah is between $10,000 and $11,000 per person. And so you can see that will go for funeral expenses. One thing that we have been able to negotiate with Department of Health and Human Services is there is a federal law that says if you're age 55 or older and you accept Medicaid services, then when you pass away, they have to do that Medicaid estate recovery. But in Utah, if you pass away before the age of 55, they are not going to do any estate recovery out of your ABLE account. And there's actually movement nationwide to try to get that Medicaid estate recovery changed so that hopefully in the future, we won't even have to worry about that over 55 provision. But that is in process right now, that they're working on it. Now, the account cost for an Able Utah account is $20 a year, and it has gone down over the past 3 years. Pretty excited about that. I think it started at $33 a year, went to $27, and now it's at $20 per year. And then the asset-based fees are between 0.19 and 0.33%. Talking again about a special needs trust, I don't know if you've worked with individuals or worked with special needs trusts before. They are a great tool in working with inheritance and those kind of things. And they can be used with an ABLE account as well. So with a special needs trust, that is a special trust account that gets set up, and you have to have permission. You have to have special permission from Utah Medicaid and also SSI in order to have that trust not count for those asset limits. So you have to send the trust in to Medicaid and to SSI and have them approve the verbiage on it. So make sure it fits for them. But a trust, excuse me, can accept unlimited cash and non-cash items. So you can put a house in a trust, or you can put a car in a trust. If you get a, let's say you get a settlement of $100,000 or $1 million, you can put that in a special needs trust, where there is that limit of, in 2026, $20,000 a year for an ABLE account. But a trust can actually transfer money into your ABLE account. It counts towards that $20,000 a year. But with a trust account, one limitation is you can't spend money on housing expenses, where with an ABLE account, you can. So if you transfer money from a trust into an ABLE account, you can use that on housing and food and those kind of things. Now, currently for 2025, and this won't change until March, until after the legislature meets, and then they'll backdate it. But for tax year 2025, any contribution made into an ABLE Utah account, the contributor can potentially take a state tax credit of 4.5%. So if you're contributing into someone else's ABLE account, you might be eligible for a state tax credit. Excuse me. And then one of the really golden things is there's no federal or state income tax on earnings in your ABLE account. So let's say you made that 18% over the last year in interest, you don't pay any taxes on that. And you can't say that with a 401k or most retirement vehicles. So this is a really good option for people to be able to save, again, for retirement or for things that they need to purchase. And then again, it can be established, administered, and owned by the individual with a disability. If you have questions, there is a really good customer service line. Plus, so my name is Jolene Weiler, and I'm the coordinator for ABLE Utah. We do have an email address, a local email address, ableut@utah.gov. And then our website is ableut.com. And again, I'll give you some more of these resources. The ABLE Today program and the ABLE National Resource Center have comparison. You can go in and compare programs to see which state program works best for you. So the ABLE Utah account might be the best option for you, but I would invite you to go onto one of these websites and use their comparison tools for different state programs that may be helpful for you. There are different state options that may allow anyone from the United States to be able to invest in that program. So I invite you to go out and compare to see what's going to be best for you or your loved one. Okay. So I want to touch a little bit on Utah Work Incentive Planning Services. And I know we're we're getting long. If you have questions, please let me know. So Utah Work Incentive Planning Services, we are here to help people with barriers for work. So there's a lot of people that are scared to go to work because they don't understand how Social Security is going to react or Medicaid's going to react to them working, or they've gotten bad information in the past, or they've had those bad past experiences. And that's why UWIPS is here. That's our acronym. So that's why we're here, is to really help people understand how work affects their Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, housing, food stamps or SNAP benefits. And we educate people about special rules called work incentives to allow people to work and maybe have less money count towards their Social Security and Medicaid and those kind of programs. And we refer people to different community resources that they may not be thinking about they might be eligible for, but they are. We serve anybody between the ages of 14 and full retirement age. So as long as a person's receiving Social Security disability benefits and they're between 14 and full retirement age, we can help serve them. We can't help people get on Social Security benefits. We only help them once they are already on benefits. If an individual is a vocational rehabilitation client, we ask their VR counselor to refer to us just because we share a database system and it makes it easy to refer in that system. But if you're not going to vocational rehabilitation, we can still serve an individual with a disability. They can go onto our website, which I'll give you our website address, and fill out the electronic copy or print a copy and write in it. Oh, and I'm seeing Sylvia said that Utah UAF can help families apply for Social Security if you need help in applying for Social Security. But as far as the referral form, you send that in. You can either fax it in or you can email it to our email address at usoruwips@utah.gov. So again, we help people understand how work affects their benefits. And if you know somebody who's receiving Social Security who has those questions, please either refer them, have them refer themselves, or have their VR counselor refer them to our program. It's a free service, and it's a really valuable service to be able to have people go through. We can talk to the person with the disability, but we can also work with parents and family members and support people so that everybody understands. I often say 2 or 3 pairs of ears is better to hear the information that we have than just one. So here's our information, our email, and then the website. We are on the jobs.utah.gov website under Division of Rehabilitation. So if you go there, it's services for people with disabilities. And we can really help people understand their benefits. So I want to give you really quick an example of an ABLE, somebody who's using an ABLE account. I actually have a personal friend who has a daughter with, she has autism and she has cerebral palsy. And she's non-vocal and has some pretty significant disabilities. Before she turned 18, she wasn't on benefits, but her parents wanted to set up an ABLE account so that friends and family members could put money into that account for her. And when she did eventually apply for Social Security, she wouldn't have any problems with that account. So as soon as Utah opened up our ABLE Utah program in 2021, her mom enrolled in ABLE for her. And now her daughter is over 18. She's on SSI benefits, but she still has the ABLE program that mom helps administer so that friends and family member can still put money in, and they can put money in for her Social Security benefit and save for the future. And that is a really powerful thing for her. I've worked with individuals who have babies that they have started an Able Utah account for, all the way up to there's somebody in Ohio who was over 90 years old when they enrolled in an Able account. So it's a wide spectrum of people who are eligible. So, any closing questions for me? No? Okay. I'm going to pass it on back to Sylvia if you have anything.
Great. Thank you so much, Jolene. Thank you, Kala. If you guys do have questions, feel free to type it in the chat. I see some gratitude and thanks in the chat. And if you do think of something later, you have everyone's contact information. If you didn't write it down, I can send out the slides later. And
Sylvia,
yes,
I do have a question.
excellent.
I'm sorry if you already covered this and I didn't hear, but can you use their SSI? Can you put money from their SSI account into their ABLE account?
You can, and you can actually set up direct deposit from Social Security into the ABLE account. Now, if you do that, if they have a representative payee, that representative payee has to be the authorized legal representative. So, so that person has to help them with their ABLE account. But yes, you can put the Social Security in there.
Okay, awesome. All right, thank you.
Right. You can also contact me through the Utah Work Incentive Planning Services. Again, I work for both programs. I am retiring at the end of the year, so we will have a new program coordinator and a new director of UWIPS, but they will also be available through those same phone numbers and email addresses.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks so much, Sylvia.
Thank you so much. Thank you for presenting and sharing all of this really valuable information. And thank you to all of the parents that came to attend today. Thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedules to learn about this to help support your families. You guys are amazing. Thank you.